Talking about the universe requires, in some sense, settling into presence, not attempting to look at the universe as if it's some objective outside, somewhere else place. There's a direct relationship between the universe, spaciousness, emptiness, and this body of ours. And what I want to talk about today is the fact that the universe is not human-centric. Everything I know, we know about the universe is known because of this biological form that we are manifested as. We have the 5 bodily senses and the thinking mind to interpret sense data. And that's how we come to know the world, make sense of the world. And when you read about Zen and non-duality and Advaita, you come quickly to grasp this idea, this insight, this truth of no self. That who you think you are, who I think I am, is a mind-created concept. There is no material reality there outside of the form. We have a body, for example, but we are not the body. I have a mind, but I'm not my mind. It's neti, 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 not this, not this, not this. A reductionist approach until you get to, emptiness. The first time I really got into a kind of quiet mind, I realized that the universe is simply as it is. That there is no right or wrong, left or right, up or down, except in relation to a human perspective, to a human consciousness. There is no wrong, there is no evil, there is no justice, there is no righteousness in the universe. It is totally impersonal, detached. If you have, when you think about the quantum physicists' attempt to find a fundamental material makeup of all the objects, observable universe that we see, they talk about atoms and neutrons and quarks, protons, neutrinos, trying to find a fundamental building block of all the stuff that we see. And it's there that you get to realize that depending on the observer, an atom can be in one place or another place simultaneously, non-locality. And what's true at the subatomic level is not necessarily observable at our macro level. So when I read about, hear about, listen to others talk about the universe's love, the universe's bliss, serenity, I take that with a grain of salt. That what they are saying is from their perspective. The universe represents absolute reality. Actuality in its totality. But we, me, as universe manifested in human form, all I'm ever going to know is my pinpoint individual perspective, which happens to be human consciousness. And all of us in form are pinpoints of consciousness in a very massive spectrum or field of consciousness throughout the universe. Everything is everything is everything is everything. And if you have the subatomic particles, which have vibrancy, they vibrate at certain frequencies. Well, if you have me, I'm a series of atoms vibrating at a certain frequency, and I've got this form as a result. Wood, steel, metal, vegetables, garden, lava, sky, oxygen, water, all various aggregates of electrons, of neutrons, of atoms, neutrinos, vibrating at different frequencies. When they aggregate in different forms, as they aggregate in human form, consciousness is there. Information is there. Energy is there. There's solar energy, nuclear energy, physical energy, psychic energy, muscular energy, all kinds of energy. And the body is made up of electrochemical transmitters with neural circuitries firing off, and proteins and all kinds of hormonal chemical differences go back and forth in the body. And there's communication in those transmissions that keep the body, the heart beating, the lungs breathing, the blood flowing. So not all communication is in words, sentences, paragraphs. So we swim in a visible and invisible field of energy and information. And that's all it is energy and information. But when looked at through human eyes, a human perspective, human consciousness, then we have love and despair and sorrow and hope and justice and injustice, cruelty, indifference, fear. But the universe is none of these things. If you have a certain frequency of matter and energy at a certain level, you have an enlightened being. Energy vibrating at another frequency is someone lost deep in the dream of separate self. One frequency, awakened human being, different frequency, non-awakened human being. Universe is totally indifferent. For those who talk about the universe as, cosmic love and cosmic bliss and everything is this and everything, nah, that's a human story. That's not a cosmic story. And that human story is one grain of sand in the Great Sahara Desert. One grain of sand. So we're going to know this universe through a human perspective. And we can't attribute anything to the universe like love or evil or injustice or loving kindness. That's a human story, not a cosmic story. And so what we are trying to do, what I'm trying to do, is to learn how to live like a conscious human being. Not keep searching for something, some other place. Trying to figure out what it is to be like Buddha nature or Christ consciousness, solar consciousness, cosmic consciousness, something other than what we already are, what I already am. Since the universe, absolute reality, is total, it includes you and me. And as we are manifestations of that absolute reality, of that absolute truth that we keep looking for somewhere else. It's already here. Always already here. Don't be afraid of being a human being. What's interesting is that understanding this story of ours requires non-conceptual understanding, not mental, intellectual, conceptual understanding, understanding from the heart. And the heart is very much like consciousness itself, like absolute reality itself. It excludes nothing. And it's the mind that says, no, can't accept that filth. that ignorance, that lack of love, that brutality, that illness, that sadness, that loss of youth, that loss of love, that loss of a loved one, suffering. Don't like suffering. No, not suffering. It's everything. The heart has got to learn how to accept everything. Say no to nothing. And saying no is what creates the pain, which perpetuates the pain, perpetuates the pain. We do the best we can with what we have, with whatever level of intelligence, education, life experience, curiosity we have. And it's interesting in a sense that if you're fat and happy and enjoying where you are, the search, the inquiry doesn't happen. Strangely enough, it always seems to me that suffering starts the process. How do I stop it? How do I stop the suffering? How do I escape the suffering? And you look to transcend, to get beyond, to some happy, happy land. No, it's everything. You need to get used to the idea, accepting that what you're going to know is only going to be a partial story. And it's going to be known from a human perspective. Accept your humanity. Explore your humanity. Share your humanity.